My beloved child, pause for a moment and let your heart become quiet. You did not arrive here by accident, and these words did not reach you without purpose. I have drawn your attention to this moment because I know what has been moving beneath the surface of your life. I know the questions you have carried. I know the prayers you stopped speaking aloud because you were afraid of hearing only silence. I know the hope you protected so carefully that no one around you could see it. You have asked whether your waiting means you were forgotten. My beloved child, I have not overlooked one day of your journey. I saw the mornings when you rose with courage even though your spirit felt tired. I saw the nights when you tried to rest, but your thoughts kept circling around the same concerns. Nothing about your life has been hidden from me. Not one tear, not one disappointment, not one faithful step has escaped my attention. This is why I am asking you to listen without rushing. There is a difference between hearing words and allowing truth to settle into your spirit. Let your breathing slow. Let the noise inside you become still enough to recognize my nearness. The peace beginning to form within you is not weakness. It is the quiet assurance that you are not carrying your life alone. My beloved child, I know you have questioned your worthiness. You remember the choices you wish you could change. Yet my love has never depended on your flawless performance. Before you understood your own story, I already knew you. As I reminded Jeremiah, I knew him before his life became visible to the world. You may feel that this message should have reached you sooner. You may look back and wonder why clarity did not come yesterday, last month, or during the season when you felt most desperate. But my beloved child, timing is not only about speed. Timing is also about readiness. A seed placed into frozen ground is not abandoned. It is waiting for the soil to soften. In the same way, some truths could not take root in you while fear was controlling every decision. I was preparing a place within you where peace could remain. The delays you resented were not empty spaces. While you believed nothing was changing, I was teaching you how to endure without becoming hard. I was showing you how to remain kind without surrendering your boundaries. I was teaching you to recognize the difference between urgency and guidance. I was helping you discover that being alone for a season is not the same as being abandoned. What looked like stillness was often quiet construction. Think of a house being strengthened below the ground. No one celebrates the foundation while it is being formed. There is only earth being moved, measurements being checked, and hidden support being placed where no visitor will ever see it. Yet when the storm comes, that unseen work matters most. My beloved child, much of what I have done in you has been foundation work. You wanted visible progress, but I was building stability. This appointed moment is not a promise that every difficulty will disappear today. I do not ask you to pretend that pain is gone when it is still present. You are not standing at the end of hope. You are standing at the beginning of a clearer response. The next season will require trust, patience, discernment, and honest action. I will guide you, but I will not ask you to abandon wisdom. I will lead you, but I will not require you to deny reality. My beloved child, open your heart without forcing an outcome. You do not need to make every conversation mean something mysterious. Stay close to me. Pay attention to what brings truth, peace, courage, and responsibility into your life. When I guide you, my direction will not demand panic. It will not require you to ignore healthy counsel. Remember how I led Elijah. My presence was not always revealed through the loudest display. After the wind, the shaking, and the fire, he recognized me in a gentle quietness. Learn from this, my beloved child. You have spent enough time believing that only dramatic change proves that I am near. Sometimes my clearest work begins as a calm decision. Sometimes it looks like making the call you have avoided. Sometimes it means resting without guilt. Sometimes it means forgiving without returning to an unsafe pattern. I am not ashamed of your need. I am not disappointed by your exhaustion. I am not standing at a distance waiting for you to become impressive. I am here inviting you to come honestly. Bring me the confused parts. Bring me the anger you tried to hide. Bring me the questions you thought faithful people were not allowed to ask. I can hold your honesty. Your questions do not frighten me. Your weakness does not push me away. A truthful heart is safer in my presence than a polished mask. My beloved child, this moment has been appointed for recognition. Recognize that you are seen. Recognize that your waiting has not erased your value. Recognize that your past has not removed you from my care. Recognize that the quiet work within you has been real, even when no one applauded it. Recognize that you can begin again without pretending you never struggled. I am not asking you to become another person before taking the next step. I am asking you to walk with me as you are. There is more ahead, but you do not need to carry all of it now. Receive what belongs to this moment. Receive enough peace for today. Receive enough courage for the next honest decision. Receive enough light for the step directly in front of you. As the psalmist learned, my word can become a lamp for the path, not a floodlight revealing every mile at once. I will give you guidance as you move. So remain here in spirit, my beloved child. Do not run back into fear. Do not let yesterday decide what I can teach you today. The appointed moment is not built on pressure. It is built on presence. I am with you now in the room where you sit, in the questions you still carry, and in the hope that is slowly returning. Let this be the beginning of listening again. Let this be the moment you stop calling yourself forgotten. You are held, and I am still leading you forward. My beloved child, now that you have begun to recognize this appointed moment, I want you to look back with clearer eyes. Some doors that closed were not signs I had abandoned you. They were protection, redirection, or delays that kept you from places your heart was not ready to carry. You saw a locked entrance and assumed rejection. I saw what waited on the other side, and I knew what would have wounded you more deeply if I had allowed you to enter too soon. I know how painful those moments felt. You prayed for an answer, an opportunity, a relationship, a clear path. You waited, and nothing seemed to move. You watched others receive what you wanted, and your heart wondered whether I had overlooked you. My beloved child, I did not overlook you. I was caring for your life according to what only I could see. There were rooms you wanted to enter because they looked beautiful, yet their foundations were weak. There were people you wanted to keep because losing them felt unbearable, yet their presence was slowly teaching you to doubt your value. There were plans you believed had to succeed because you had invested so much hope in them, yet those plans would have demanded a version of you that lived in constant fear, performance, and exhaustion. When a door closed, you often stood before it longer than I asked you to. You knocked again. You blamed yourself. You replayed every conversation. You tried to discover what you had done wrong, but not every closed door was caused by failure. Sometimes I was preventing you from building your future inside a place that could not hold your peace. Remember Joseph, my beloved child. The path toward his purpose did not look like steady promotion. It included betrayal, confinement, delay, and years when his gift seemed forgotten. Yet even in those hidden places, I was forming wisdom, patience, and strength within him. The closed doors were not the conclusion of his story. They became the hallway through which preparation took place. I am not telling you that every painful event was good. I am telling you that pain did not remove me from your story. Human choices hurt you. Opportunities were lost. Some circumstances changed because life is fragile, and others were beyond your control. I do not ask you to call harm good. I ask you to trust that I can still bring wisdom, healing, and direction from what tried to leave you empty. My beloved child, you have often judged my presence by visible progress. When things moved quickly, you felt certain I was near. When nothing changed, you wondered if I had become silent. But roots do not make noise while they grow. A tree can appear still through an entire season, while its life is reaching deeper beneath the soil. What looks inactive above the ground may be becoming stronger below it. During the delays, you learned to notice your own patterns. You began to see how easily fear could make you chase what did not respect you. You discovered how often loneliness tempted you to accept less than peace. You learned that urgency can sound convincing while still leading you away from wisdom. Some doors closed because you were asking for access when what you truly needed was freedom. You wanted acceptance from people who only valued the version of you that remained quiet, useful, and easy to control. You wanted another chance in places where your dignity had already been ignored. You called it loyalty, but deep inside you were afraid to begin again. So I began to loosen your grip. Not all at once, because I knew your heart was tired. I allowed truth to come slowly. A conversation revealed what you had avoided. A repeated disappointment exposed a pattern. A growing discomfort made it harder to pretend. What you first called confusion was sometimes clarity, arriving in a form you did not expect. My beloved child, when I close a door, I do not always explain it immediately. This is difficult for you because you want understanding before surrender. You want the map before taking the next step. Yet faith often begins when you place your hand in mine without seeing the entire road. As the proverb teaches, trust in me with your whole heart and do not lean only on your own understanding. There were times when you asked me to restore something I was helping you release. You asked me to reopen a path that had already shown you its limits. You thought persistence would prove your faith. But sometimes faith is not continuing to knock. Sometimes faith is accepting that a closed door can also be an answer. I know you feared that letting go meant losing your only chance. You wondered whether another opportunity would ever come. My beloved child, scarcity spoke loudly to you. It told you that this person was the only person, this job was the only job, this plan was the only plan, and this season was your final season. But I am not limited to one doorway. I can guide you through paths you have not yet imagined. Still, I do not want you chasing every new opening simply because the old one closed. Redirection is not restlessness. Wisdom does not run from place to place searching for instant relief. Stay grounded, pray, observe, seek honest counsel. Pay attention to whether a path requires you to betray your values, ignore healthy boundaries, or live in constant anxiety. My guidance may stretch you, but it will not require you to abandon truth. Look again at the doors behind you. Some protected your future. Some exposed an unhealthy attachment. Some taught you patience. Some showed you that your identity cannot depend on being chosen by another person. Some forced you to develop skills you had neglected. Some brought you back to prayer after you had trusted your own plans more than my presence. Even the door you still grieve may have carried mercy you cannot fully recognize yet. You do not have to force yourself to feel grateful before you are ready. Bring me the disappointment honestly. Tell me what you lost. Tell me what still hurts. Healing does not require pretending. I can meet you in truth. My beloved child, the closed door was not always the end. Sometimes it was the boundary between the life you were trying to preserve and the life I was preparing you to enter. You are beginning to understand that now. Let this understanding soften your resentment. Let it quiet the need to return to every place that rejected you. Let it release you from proving that you deserve to be admitted. What is meant to grow next will need peace, not panic. It will need roots, not performance. It will need a heart that can remain steady, even when answers come slowly. So do not rush past this lesson. Sit with it. Let the meaning settle. The next work I will do in you will not begin with noise. It will begin in stillness, where transformation can take root without being disturbed. My beloved child, the stillness I invited you into is not an empty pause. It is the place where deeper work can finally begin. You have measured progress by what you could see. Yet some of the most important changes in your life will happen quietly before there is any visible evidence. A heart does not announce the moment it becomes softer. Transformation often starts beneath the surface, where only I can see its first movement. You may feel tempted to fill this silence. You may want to call someone, make a decision, explain yourself, or search for another sign. But my beloved child, not every quiet moment needs to be interrupted. Some moments are meant to be inhabited. Stay long enough to notice what is changing. The restlessness you once called ambition may be losing its control. The need to prove yourself may be weakening. The old urge to chase every answer may be giving way to patience. This is why stillness can feel uncomfortable at first. Noise often protected you from what you avoided. Busyness kept you from noticing how tired you had become. Conversation helped you avoid questions beneath your confidence. When the room becomes quiet, the truth becomes easier to hear. I do not reveal that truth to shame you. I reveal it so I can heal what you have learned to hide. My beloved child, remember the words given through the psalmist. Be still and know that I am God. This was not an invitation to become passive or careless. It was an invitation to stop fighting as though everything depended on human strength. Stillness is not surrender to defeat. It is surrender to my presence. It is the choice to loosen your grip, breathe again, and remember that I remain God even when your circumstances have not yet changed. Parts of you survived by staying alert. You watched every expression change in tone and sign someone might leave. You became skilled at preparing for disappointment before it arrived. That vigilance may have helped you endure a difficult season, but it was never meant to become your permanent home. In stillness, I am teaching your body and spirit that they do not have to live as though danger is always approaching. This healing will not happen through pressure. I will not rush you into trust. I will meet you gently, one honest moment at a time. When fear rises, you can bring it to me without embarrassment. When old memories return, you do not need to wrestle with them alone. Name what you feel. Let your breathing slow. Ask for wisdom. Seek support from people who are steady, truthful, and safe. My guidance does not separate you from healthy help. It teaches you to receive it wisely. My beloved child, transformation and stillness also changes the way you speak. You will begin to notice that you no longer need to explain every decision to everyone. You will stop giving long defenses to people who have already chosen not to understand you. Silence will no longer feel like weakness. It will become a boundary, a place where your thoughts can settle before your words are released. Jesus often stepped away from the crowds to pray. He did not withdraw because he lacked compassion. He withdrew because continual demands could not be allowed to replace communion with me. Learn from this rhythm. You are not required to remain available to every voice, every request, or every crisis. There are times to serve, and there are times to step back. There are times to speak, and there are times to let quietness restore your clarity. Do not announce every change before it has roots. A young plant can be damaged when it is handled too often. In the same way, a new conviction can become fragile when exposed too quickly to the opinions of people who do not understand its purpose. You do not need secrecy born from fear, but you do need discernment. Share your journey with those who respect your growth, not those who turn every tender beginning into debate. Some people may notice that you are changing. They may ask why you are less reactive, why you are no longer chasing the same approval, or why certain conversations no longer interest you. You do not owe everyone a complete explanation. Let the fruit speak over time. Let consistency reveal what words cannot prove. As your peace becomes steadier, those who are willing to see will recognize that something within you has become anchored. My beloved child, stillness will also uncover grief. You may remember dreams that did not happen, relationships that ended, or years you believe were wasted. Do not run from that sadness. Grief is not evidence that your faith is weak. It is evidence that something mattered to you. Sit with me there. Let tears come without judging them. I can hold both your sorrow and your hope in the same moment. Mary carried words she did not fully understand and pondered them in her heart. She did not receive every answer at once. She held what had been spoken and allowed time to deepen its meaning. You can do the same. You do not need to force immediate understanding. Some truths become clear only after they have rested within you for a while. As this transformation grows, your choices will begin to change naturally. You will become slower to react and quicker to listen. You will recognize when fear is trying to disguise itself as urgency. You will become less willing to abandon your values for temporary relief. You will discover that peace can guide a decision more faithfully than panic ever could. But hear me clearly, my beloved child. Peace does not mean you will never feel discomfort. Growth may ask you to apologize, set a boundary, seek counsel, end an unhealthy pattern, or begin again with humility. Stillness prepares you for action. It clears away the noise so you can move from conviction instead of impulse. I am not forming passivity in you. I am forming steadiness. The work happening now may be invisible to others, but it is not insignificant. I am strengthening the places where you once collapsed under pressure. I am teaching you to remain present without absorbing every emotion around you. I am helping you separate compassion from self-abandonment. I am showing you that love can be generous while still being wise. Stay with this process even when it hurts. Do not dig up the seed every morning to see whether it has grown. Continue praying, continue resting, continue doing the next honest thing. Let small acts of faithfulness become your new rhythm. Over time, you will notice that what once controlled you no longer has the same voice. My beloved child, the quiet work is already becoming peace. Soon you will need to protect what is being formed because not every voice, habit, or environment will honor it. For now, remain close. Let stillness finish what noise kept interrupting. Let truth settle deeper than fear. And when you rise from this place, rise gently, carrying the peace I have begun to build within you. My beloved child, the peace I have begun to form within you is precious, but it is also tender. You cannot treat it carelessly and expect it to remain strong. Just as a small flame needs shelter from sudden wind, your inner calm needs protection from voices, habits, and pressures that once kept you unsettled. It means becoming wise about what you allow to shape your heart. You have spent many seasons reacting quickly because everything felt urgent. A message arrived and you felt you had to answer at once. Someone misunderstood you and you rushed to explain. A problem appeared and your mind imagined the worst. My beloved child, peace grows when you stop giving every interruption the right to command you. I am teaching you to pause before fear speaks for you. Ask whether a situation truly requires action or whether old anxiety is demanding movement. There is a difference between responsibility and panic. Responsibility can be steady. Panic is loud, hurried, and exhausting. My guidance may call you to act, but it will not force you to abandon wisdom. Remember how Jesus slept while the storm moved around the boat. The wind was real. The waves were real. The fear of the disciples was real. Yet his rest revealed that chaos did not have final authority. My beloved child, I am not asking you to deny the storm. I am teaching you that the storm does not need to live inside you. Protecting your peace begins with attention. Notice what happens in your spirit after certain conversations. Notice which environments leave you tense or ashamed. Notice which habits fill your mind with comparison. Do not condemn yourself for being affected. Become honest. You cannot guard what you refuse to observe. There may be people you love who are accustomed to your old patterns. They may expect you to answer every request, absorb every complaint, or abandon your needs to keep them comfortable. When you respond differently, they may call you distant, selfish, or changed. In one sense, they will be correct. You are changing. But change toward wisdom is not betrayal. My beloved child, a boundary is not a wall built from hatred. It is a gate guided by discernment. You can be kind without giving everyone unlimited access. You can forgive without returning to the same damaging pattern. You can care about someone and still decide that peace requires distance. Do not believe that protecting your heart means hardening it. A hardened heart feels nothing because it is afraid to feel. A guarded heart remains soft but wise. It can love, listen, and serve without being controlled by guilt. It can remain compassionate without carrying burdens I never assigned. The proverb says to guard your heart because the direction of life flows from it. It means recognizing that what you repeatedly welcome will shape your thoughts, choices, and relationships. If you feed fear every morning, fear will sound like truth. If you remain beneath voices that belittle you, you may start speaking to yourself the same way. So choose what enters your inner room. Let prayer enter before panic. Let truth enter before assumption. Let gratitude enter before comparison. Let wise counsel enter before impulsive decisions. Some days you will forget. Do not turn that realization into shame. Simply return. My beloved child, return to me as often as you need. Peace is not maintained by one dramatic moment. It is built through repeated choices. It grows when you stop consuming things that stir envy before sleep. It grows when you allow your body to rest instead of treating exhaustion as faithfulness. It grows when you speak honestly rather than agreeing out of fear. You may need to change the rhythm of your days. Begin with quiet minutes before allowing the demands of others to enter. Read a small portion of Scripture slowly instead of consuming many words without reflection. Ask what is within your responsibility and what must be released. Small practices create room for peace to become rooted. Do not confuse peace with the absence of hard conversations. Sometimes protecting peace requires you to speak. You may need to correct a misunderstanding, admit your mistake, or say no without anger. Avoiding truth may create temporary quiet, but it cannot create lasting peace. My peace is not fragile silence built on pretending. It is wholeness built on honesty. When you speak, let your words come from clarity rather than resentment. Ask for time if you need it. Pray before answering. Choose simple words. You do not need to win every argument. You need to remain truthful, respectful, and free from controlling another person's response. My beloved child, some battles are not yours to continue. You have spent too much energy trying to convince people committed to misunderstanding you. You believed one more explanation would make them see your heart, but repeated explanation cannot create willingness in someone else. At times, peace is protected when you stop presenting evidence to a closed mind. Release the need to manage how everyone sees you. You cannot walk steadily if you constantly turn around to examine every opinion behind you. Let your character speak through time. Let consistency answer accusations words cannot settle. Your peace cannot depend on universal approval. I also want you to guard against the voice within that keeps reopening old wounds. You replay conversations and imagine better answers. You revisit mistakes as though regret could change them. You predict future rejection based on past pain. My beloved child, reflection can bring wisdom, but endless replay brings captivity. Learn what the moment can teach, then place it in my hands. When memories return, do not fight them with fear. Acknowledge them, breathe, and remind yourself that the event is not happening again. Ask me what truth is needed now. Perhaps you need forgiveness. Perhaps you need a boundary. Perhaps you need to speak with someone trustworthy. Perhaps you need professional support. Receiving help is not a failure of faith. Peace is not passivity. It gives you strength to respond without losing yourself. It allows you to enter difficulty without becoming difficulty. It helps you remain gentle without becoming weak, firm without becoming cruel, and open without becoming unprotected. This is the balance I am forming within you. My beloved child, protect this peace, but do not worship it. There will be days when you feel unsettled. Do not believe you have lost all progress. Growth is not erased by one hard day. Return to the practices that steady you. Return to truth. Return to wise community. Return to me. As this peace becomes stronger, it will reveal something else. You will see how often you hid your weakness because you feared disappointing me. You will realize that some striving came from the belief that you had to appear complete before coming near. But I am not asking for a polished version of you. I am preparing you to come honestly without hiding the parts that still need grace. I will meet you there with patience, not accusation, and show you that honest weakness can become the doorway through which deeper trust and healing begin within you. My beloved child, the honest weakness I spoke of is not something you need to hide from me. You have spent enough time trying to appear stronger than you feel, but I already see you clearly, and I am not turning away. Come to me as you are today. Do not wait until your thoughts are organized. Do not wait until your emotions become easier to explain. Do not wait until you have corrected every mistake. My beloved child, I am not asking you to clean the room before inviting me inside. I am asking you to open the door so we can begin restoring it together. You learned to hide because people sometimes used your honesty against you. You trusted someone and your words were repeated carelessly. You admitted fear and someone treated you as weak. You revealed a need and it was ignored. Those experiences taught you to protect yourself by becoming polished, quiet, and difficult to read. Yet the mask that protected you from judgment also kept you from receiving comfort. I understand why you built it. I will not shame you for the ways you survived. But my beloved child, what helped you endure one season may limit you in the next. You cannot receive deep healing while insisting that nothing hurts. You cannot experience real connection while presenting only the parts you believe others will approve. Before me, you do not need a performance. Think of David when he poured out his fear, anger, sorrow, and hope in prayer. He did not speak as though faith had removed every emotion. He brought his whole heart. He asked questions. He admitted exhaustion. He remembered my faithfulness. The Psalms show that honesty and trust can exist together. You can be confused and still reach for me. You can grieve and still believe that I am near. My beloved child, I am not disappointed by your humanity. I know that you become impatient. I know that fear sometimes shapes your choices. I know that you have spoken words you regret and remained silent when courage was needed. I know the habits you return to when stress becomes heavy. Nothing you confess informs me of something I did not know. Confession opens what secrecy keeps closed. Bring me the mistake that still makes you lower your eyes. Bring me the decision you replay at night. Bring me the relationship in which you lost your boundaries. Bring me the opportunity you mishandled. Bring me the season when you drifted from prayer because disappointment made you tired. I do not ask you to excuse what was wrong. I ask you to stop carrying it alone. Grace does not pretend that choices have no consequences. Grace meets you in truth and teaches you how to respond differently. Sometimes you will need to apologize. Sometimes you will need to repair what can be repaired. Sometimes you will need to accept that another person may not trust you immediately. My beloved child, humility is not self-hatred. It is the courage to see clearly without deciding that failure is your identity. Peter denied Jesus when fear became stronger than his confidence. Afterward, shame could have convinced him that his calling was over. Yet Jesus met him, spoke with him, and restored him to responsibility. The failure was real, but it was not final. Let that truth reach the place in you that believes one broken moment has defined your entire life. You have judged yourself by your worst day, while judging others by the possibility that they might change. Offer yourself the same honesty and patience. Do not call harmful behavior acceptable, but do not call yourself hopeless. Growth begins when truth and mercy meet. Truth says this must change. Mercy says you do not have to change alone. My beloved child, I also see the imperfections you did not choose. I see the limitations that make you feel behind. I see the places where your body, mind, family history, or circumstances have made the road harder. You compare your progress with people carrying different burdens, then accuse yourself of moving too slowly. I do not measure your faithfulness through someone else's pace. The widow who offered a small gift was not overlooked because her amount seemed insignificant. I saw the heart and sacrifice behind it. In the same way, I see the effort hidden inside what others call a small step. Getting out of bed may have required courage. Making one honest call may have taken everything you had. Choosing not to return to an unhealthy pattern may have been a quiet victory no one celebrated. I saw it. You do not need to impress me with dramatic promises. Speak truthfully about what you can do today. Ask for help where you need it. Rest when your body requires rest. Seek wise counsel when confusion continues. Let trusted people walk beside you. My presence is not threatened by practical support. I often answer prayer through community wisdom, treatment, encouragement, and patient daily choices. My beloved child, stop confusing punishment with transformation. You have believed that being harsh with yourself would keep you humble. Instead, it has often left you discouraged and afraid to try again. Correction can be firm without becoming cruel. I will show you what needs to change, but my voice will not tell you that you are beyond love. Learn to recognize the difference. Shame says hide until you become worthy. Grace says come into the light so healing can begin. Shame says your failure is your name. Grace says your failure is a place where wisdom can grow. Shame isolates. Grace restores connection, responsibility, and hope. This does not mean sharing every struggle with everyone. Honesty still needs discernment. Choose people who respect confidence, offer truthful counsel, and do not use vulnerability for control. You can be open without becoming unprotected. You can ask for help without handing your story to unsafe hands. Let wisdom and honesty walk together. When you come to me, you may not feel immediate relief. Some patterns took years to form. Some fears became part of your daily rhythm. Be patient with the process. Bring the same truth tomorrow. Return again when the old reaction appears. Every honest return weakens the power of hiding. Every sincere prayer creates room for a new response. My beloved child, I am not asking you to arrive complete. I am inviting you to become whole in my presence. Wholeness is not pretending that nothing is broken. It is allowing every broken place to be seen, tended, and guided toward truth. You are loved while you are growing, not only after growth is finished. As you release the need to appear perfect, you will begin to notice the wounds beneath the performance. Some are older than the mistakes you blame yourself for. Some came from words spoken over you, promises broken, and love that became conditional. Do not fear what rises next. Bring those wounds with you. We will not expose them to condemn you. We will surrender them so they no longer decide how you see yourself, receive love, or walk into the future I am still preparing. My beloved child, the wounds rising within you are not appearing because you are failing. They are coming into the light because you are becoming safe enough to face them. For a long time you survived by pressing forward. You smiled when you wanted to cry. You helped others while your own heart was tired. You told yourself that time would erase everything. Yet some pain does not disappear because the calendar moves. It waits quietly until truth and tenderness make healing possible. Do not be afraid of what you feel now. The ache is not stronger than my presence. The memory is not greater than my mercy. You may still hear the words someone spoke over you. You may still remember the moment trust was broken, the day someone left, or the season when you felt invisible in a crowded room. My beloved child, I was there. I saw what happened, and I saw what it did inside you. Some wounds changed the way you see yourself. You began to believe that being rejected meant you were unworthy. You assumed that being misunderstood meant your voice had no value. You thought that because someone failed to love you well, there was something wrong with your heart. Those conclusions were formed in pain, not in truth. I am not asking you to deny what happened. I am asking you to stop letting another person's failure become the definition of who you are. Bring the wound to me without editing the story. Tell me where it still hurts. Tell me what you lost. Tell me what you needed but never received. My beloved child, prayer does not need polished language. Hannah brought her anguish so honestly that others misunderstood what they saw. Yet I understood her. I heard the prayer that came from a place beyond easy words. I can understand yours in the same way. Surrender does not mean pretending the wound no longer matters. It means releasing the demand to control healing. You may want an apology before you can breathe again. You may want the person who hurt you to understand. You may want the past rewritten. I know why you want those things. But your freedom cannot remain chained to another person's willingness to change. There are apologies you may never receive. Some explanations may never satisfy you. There are people who may continue to defend what they did. My beloved child, I will not ask you to call injustice acceptable. I will not ask you to return to unsafe places. Forgiveness is not permission for repeated harm. It is the decision to place judgment in my hands, so bitterness no longer occupies your spirit. You can forgive and still keep a boundary. You can release hatred and still say no. You can pray for someone and still choose distance. You can stop seeking revenge without reopening a relationship that destroyed your peace. Wisdom and mercy are not enemies. They can stand together. Joseph eventually stood before the brothers who had betrayed him. He did not pretend that nothing had happened. He tested whether their hearts had changed. He wept, remembered, and responded with wisdom. My beloved child, healing does not remove discernment. It strengthens it. A healed heart is not easily controlled by guilt because it knows love does not require self-abandonment. Some wounds were caused by others, but some came from choices you made while afraid, lonely, or desperate. You may carry regret because you ignored what you already knew. You stayed too long. You spoke too quickly. You trusted the wrong voice. You abandoned your own values to keep someone near. Bring that pain to me as well. I will not humiliate you. I want to teach you without crushing you. Take responsibility for what belongs to you, but do not claim responsibility for everything. You are not responsible for another person's deception. You are not responsible for being mistreated because you trusted. You are not responsible for the burdens adults placed on you when you were young. Learn to separate guilt from grief. Guilt can point toward something you need to repair. Grief simply acknowledges that something precious was lost. My beloved child, your body may still remember what your mind tries to dismiss. A certain tone may make you tense. Silence from someone you love may awaken old fear. A crowded room may leave you exhausted. These responses are not weakness. They may be signs that your whole being learned to protect you. Treat yourself with patience. Slow your breathing. Ground yourself in the present. Speak with a trusted person. Seek professional care when the weight is too heavy. I can work through prayer, scripture-wise, friendship counseling, rest, and healthy routines. Do not limit my help to one form. Sometimes the answer to prayer begins when you finally tell the truth to someone safe. Sometimes healing starts when you sleep, eat, and care for the body you have neglected. Sometimes it begins when you stop returning to the conversation that keeps reopening the same wound. You have carried some pain as proof that what happened mattered. You feared that releasing it would excuse the person who caused it. But my beloved child, healing does not erase the record. It removes the wound from the throne. What happened can remain part of your story without continuing to direct every decision. Let me touch the places where shame settled. Let me remind you that you are more than what was done to you. You are more than the relationship that ended. You are more than the season you lost. You are more than the words that tried to reduce you. I have known you beyond every label others placed upon you. As you surrender, these wounds do not demand instant transformation. Healing often comes in layers. You may feel free today and sad again tomorrow. That does not mean you have returned to the beginning. It means another layer is ready to be held with truth. Keep coming back. Keep choosing what is healthy. Keep refusing to build your identity around pain. My beloved child, I am not only removing weight, I am restoring capacity. The energy once spent rehearsing old hurt can become strength for new responsibility. The attention once trapped in regret can become wisdom for the present. The love you protected behind fear can become generous again without becoming careless. Soon you will begin to notice small changes around you. A conversation will carry unexpected clarity. A connection will feel different because you are no longer approaching it from desperation. An opportunity may appear ordinary, yet it will meet the person you are becoming rather than the person you were trying to preserve. Do not force these movements. Simply remain gently awake. What is coming together will not require you to deny your healing. It will honor the boundaries, wisdom, and peace being formed within you. So place the wound in my hands, my beloved child. Let me carry what you were never meant to carry forever. Then lift your eyes gently. The next signs may be quiet, but they are already quietly beginning to gather along your path. My beloved child, the signs gathering along your path may not arrive with noise. They may appear through a simple conversation, a quiet invitation, a useful idea, or a person who speaks with unusual clarity. Do not dismiss small beginnings because they do not match what you imagined. Much of what I build starts in ordinary places. A door may open through one honest exchange. A new direction may begin with a question you almost ignored. You have expected change to feel dramatic. You thought that when the right season came, everything would become obvious at once. But my beloved child, growth often arrives like morning light. At first, the room is only slightly brighter. Then what was hidden begins to take form. Pay attention to the gradual light. Do not demand noon before dawn has finished its work. Notice what brings steadiness rather than excitement alone. Not every person is meant to remain simply because they arrived at a meaningful time. Discernment asks you to observe fruit. Does this connection encourage honesty, responsibility, patience, and peace? Does this opportunity respect your values? Does this direction allow you to remain truthful? I do not guide you by confusion, flattery, or pressure. My beloved child, conversations ahead may seem ordinary but carry needed wisdom. Do not turn every sentence into a prediction. Simply listen with patience and care. Remain curious. I can use practical words as surely as I use prayer. Wisdom may come through a pastor, a friend, a counselor, a teacher, a family member, or someone whose name you did not know before that day. Think of Ruth gathering grain in a field. She was not chasing a grand announcement. She was doing the next faithful thing available to her. What looked like a common field became part of a larger restoration. My beloved child, the place where your next step begins may not look impressive. Faithfulness can make ordinary ground meaningful. This is why I am teaching you to stay present. Anxiety pulls your mind ahead, regret pulls it backward, but guidance often meets you in the responsibility before you. Answer the message that needs an honest reply. Complete the task you have delayed. Make the appointment. Rest when you are exhausted. Small acts of responsibility prepare you to recognize larger opportunities without being overwhelmed. Some things are coming together because you are changing. You once approached relationships from fear of being left. Now you are learning to ask whether a connection is healthy. You once accepted every opportunity because you feared another would never come. Now you are learning to consider the cost. You once believed urgency meant importance. Now you are discovering that what is valuable can survive careful thought. My beloved child, do not become suspicious of peace because chaos feels familiar. A stable friendship may seem less exciting than relationships that kept you uncertain. A clear boundary may feel strange because you are used to over-explaining. Give yourself time to recognize what health feels like. Familiarity is not always safety, and discomfort is not always danger. At the same time, do not force every piece to fit. You may become so eager for confirmation that you connect events which are not truly connected. I do not need you to manufacture signs. You do not need to assign sacred meaning to every delay number, dream, or coincidence. Test what you sense. Compare it with scripture, wisdom, character, and reality. Seek counsel from people who do not profit from your confusion. My beloved child, what I arrange will not require you to abandon sound judgment. If someone pressures you to act immediately, give money, ignore questions, or prove your faith through fear, step back. My voice does not manipulate. True guidance does not become angry when you seek clarity. What is from me will lead you toward truth, love, courage, responsibility, and peace. You may notice that help arrives in forms you once rejected. You asked for strength, and I may provide someone who teaches you to ask for support. You asked for direction, and I may bring a difficult truth that requires change. You asked for relief, and I may show you a habit that must end. The answer may not look like escape, it may look like growth. Remember how Moses needed others to hold up his arms when he became tired. His calling did not make him independent of support. My beloved child, receiving help does not reduce your faith. It can express humility. Stop assuming that you must carry every responsibility alone before you are worthy of progress. Some things come together when you allow trustworthy people to contribute what you cannot provide yourself. Watch for alignment between inner healing and outer opportunity. A new connection may arrive after you learn to respect your boundaries. A responsibility may appear after you develop patience. A conversation may open after you are ready to listen without becoming defensive. This is not because you must become perfect before anything good can happen. It is because preparation helps you carry what you once would have dropped. My beloved child, do not despise slow development. A bridge is not useful because one section appears quickly. Every support must be tested. Every connection must be secured. What I am building is not meant to collapse under the first weight placed upon it. Let character grow beside opportunity. Let wisdom grow beside influence. Let patience grow beside desire. Lasting change needs more than a sudden opening. It needs a steady person able to walk through it. There may also be endings that make space for new alignment. A routine may no longer fit. A conversation may reveal that a relationship cannot continue in the same form. A plan may need revision. Do not call every ending failure. Sometimes what is coming together requires something else to be released. Hold your plans with open hands. Let truth, not fear, show you what belongs in the next season. As you notice, these movements remain grateful but grounded. You do not need to announce every possibility. Let time reveal what is solid. Pray before committing. Read carefully. Ask practical questions. Consider consequences. Give important decisions enough space to become clear. I am not offended by thoughtful preparation. Wisdom is one of the ways I protect you. My beloved child, something is coming together, but your task is not to control every piece. Your task is to remain awake, honest, prayerful, and willing. Notice the conversation. Notice the repeated lesson. Notice the healthy support. Notice the responsibility that keeps returning to your attention. Then take the next faithful step without demanding certainty about the whole journey. Soon you will be tempted to work harder, simply because movement has begun. You may try to accelerate what is unfolding, secure every outcome, and carry responsibilities I have not given you. Do not return to striving. What is forming will need your participation, but it will not need your panic. Let what you notice lead you toward deeper trust. The next lesson is not how to force the pieces together. It is how to surrender your constant effort and walk with me at a steadier pace. My beloved child, now that you have begun to notice what is coming together, do not make the mistake of trying to hold every piece in place. You have lived through seasons when constant effort felt like the only way to survive. You believed that if you stopped pushing, everything would collapse. You kept working, explaining, planning, fixing, and carrying. Even when your body asked for rest, your mind kept searching for answers. I know why you learned this. There were times when no one stepped in, so you became the person who handled everything. People promised support but disappeared. You learned to depend on yourself because disappointment taught you to expect little from others. My beloved child, that strength helped you endure, but it was never meant to become a prison. Surrender does not mean becoming careless. It does not mean refusing responsibility or waiting passively for life to change. Surrender means releasing the illusion that your effort can control every outcome. It means doing what is yours to do, then trusting me with what lies beyond your reach. It is faithful action without frantic attachment. You have often carried tomorrow before today was finished. You rehearsed conversations that had not happened. You prepared for losses that had not come. You tried to solve problems without enough information. My beloved child, worry gave you the sensation of movement, but it did not give you peace. It consumed strength that could have been used for the step before you. Jesus spoke about the birds that do not gather their security through anxious striving, and the flowers that do not force themselves to bloom. He was not praising laziness. He was showing that life is sustained by more than human control. You matter more than the things you fear losing. Your worth is not secured by endless effort. Your life is held by a care larger than your calculations. There are responsibilities you must continue to honor. Pay attention to your work. Keep your commitments. Care for your body. Speak truthfully. Ask forgiveness when needed. Seek wisdom. But do these things from a grounded spirit. You do not have to prove your value through exhaustion. You do not have to earn rest by reaching collapse. My beloved child, some of your striving has been hidden inside prayer. You asked me for guidance, but you had already decided what the answer must be. You prayed for peace while continuing to feed the fear that kept you awake. You said you trusted me, then returned to the same closed door and tried to open it again through pressure. I do not condemn you for this. I am showing you where trust can become more honest. Place the outcome in my hands. Bring me the relationship you cannot control. Bring me the decision that has too many unknowns. Bring me the financial concern that keeps tightening your chest. Bring me the family problem you cannot repair alone. Name what belongs to you and name what does not. This distinction can begin to loosen the burden. Perhaps your part is to make the call but not to control the response. Perhaps your part is to apologize but not to force forgiveness. Perhaps your part is to apply, prepare, or show up but not to guarantee the opportunity. Perhaps your part is to set a boundary but not to manage how others feel about it. My beloved child, faithfulness ends where control begins. Think of the people of Israel standing before the sea with danger behind them. Fear told them that they had reached the end, yet the path did not appear while they remained trapped in panic. They had to listen, move, and trust one step at a time. The way forward was not created by frantic human effort. It opened through obedience, joined with my presence. There will be moments when surrender feels like loss. You may feel empty when you stop carrying what has filled your mind for years. You may wonder who you are without the problem you have been trying to solve. Your identity became tied to being the helper, the fixer, the strong one, or the person who never needed anything. Let me teach you that you are loved before you perform any role. Rest may feel unfamiliar. Silence may make you restless. When you are accustomed to pressure, peace can seem unproductive. Stay with it. Let your nervous system learn that nothing terrible happens when you pause. Let your heart discover that a quiet day is not a wasted day. It is preparation for wiser action. My beloved child, surrender also asks you to release your preferred schedule. You have created dates in your mind for when healing should be complete, when an opportunity should arrive, or when another person should change. But growth does not obey the calendar of anxiety. Some things take time because roots are forming, circumstances are shifting, and people are making choices of their own. I will not ask you to wait forever in harmful conditions. Wisdom may require action, distance, counsel, or change. Surrender is not remaining where you are being harmed. It is listening carefully enough to know whether the next faithful step is to stay, speak, leave, prepare, or rest. My guidance will never require you to call fear loyalty or abuse patience. Release the belief that every obstacle must be conquered immediately. Some problems are solved through action. Others are outgrown through transformation. Some answers arrive when you stop demanding them. Some doors become irrelevant because your desires become healthier. My beloved child, I am not only changing circumstances, I am changing the person who meets them. When effort is driven by fear, it narrows your vision. You see only the result you are trying to secure. When action is guided by trust, you become able to notice alternatives, receive help, and adapt without losing yourself. Surrender gives you room to think clearly. It makes you strong enough to change direction without calling it defeat. Ask yourself what you are gripping today. Is it an outcome, an opinion, a deadline, a relationship, or the need to understand everything? Bring it into prayer without dramatic promises. Say what is true. Admit where you are afraid. Ask for wisdom for the next action. Then allow yourself to stop for the day when you have done what you reasonably can. My beloved child, you do not need to keep proving that you deserve my care. I am not impressed by your exhaustion, and I am not disappointed by your need for help. I desire a relationship with you, not only your labor. I want your honesty, trust, and willingness to walk beside me daily. As you learn this, your life with me will begin to change. You will stop seeking me only when a crisis becomes unbearable. You will begin to notice me in ordinary mornings, quiet meals, simple work, laughter, and rest. Surrender is opening the door to that deeper companionship. It is learning that I am not only the one you call when everything breaks, I am the one who wants to walk with you through every part of your day. My beloved child, this deeper companionship begins when you stop treating my presence as an emergency shelter and start receiving it as the place where your whole life can breathe. You have often called for me when fear became unbearable, when a relationship was breaking, when money felt uncertain, or when your thoughts would not rest. I heard you in those moments. I came near. But I do not want to be known only as the one you seek when everything is falling apart. I want to walk with you before the crisis begins. I want to meet you in the quiet morning before the messages arrive and before the demands of the day begin to pull at you. I want to be present in your ordinary work, your meals, your decisions, your laughter, and your rest. My beloved child, your life with me is not meant to exist only in emergencies. It is meant to become a steady relationship. You have sometimes believed that prayer must feel intense to be real. You thought you needed perfect words, strong emotion, or a dramatic moment before I would listen. But simple conversation matters. Speak to me while you are driving, cleaning, walking, or preparing for work. Tell me what you are thinking before anxiety turns it into a storm. Invite me into the small decisions, not only the choices that frighten you. Enoch walked with me through the rhythm of his life. Abraham learned to move with me through uncertainty. David spoke with me in caves, fields, palaces, and seasons of failure. Their relationship with me was not limited to one sacred location or one desperate hour. My beloved child, you can know me in the same daily way. You do not have to wait until life becomes painful before turning your attention toward me. Begin by noticing what is already around you. The warmth of light through a window, the voice of someone who cares, the strength to complete one responsibility, the quiet relief of taking a full breath. These things may seem small, but gratitude teaches your heart to recognize my care without demanding spectacle. A life filled with awareness becomes less dependent on constant signs. This daily attention will train you to recognize my care in ways you once missed, making your faith steadier, quieter, and less dependent on sudden emotional intensity or immediate visible change around you. This does not mean pretending every day is easy. Some mornings will still feel heavy. Some prayers will still carry tears. There will be days when you feel close to me, and days when your emotions feel empty. My beloved child, relationship is deeper than sensation. I remain near when you feel comfort, and I remain near when you feel nothing. Do not measure my faithfulness by the intensity of your feelings. Emotions are honest, but they change. They can be influenced by sleep, stress, memories, health, and disappointment. Bring them to me, but do not make them your only guide. Let truth hold you when emotion becomes uncertain. I am with you because of my character, not because you managed to create the right spiritual mood. Walking with me beyond crisis also means allowing me into your joy. You have sometimes felt guilty when life became peaceful. Part of you expected another problem to arrive. You hesitated to celebrate because disappointment had trained you to remain guarded. My beloved child, you are allowed to receive good moments without apologizing for them. Joy does not make you careless. It reminds you that pain is not the only chapter in your story. When something good happens, pause and share it with me. Give thanks for the answered prayer, the healthy conversation, the open door, the moment of rest, or the courage that returned. Let celebration become part of your faith. I do not only comfort you in sorrow, I also rejoice with you when your heart becomes light again. Jesus attended meals, weddings, conversations, and ordinary gatherings. He noticed children, friends, breadwater, gardens, and people others ignored. Holiness was not separated from everyday life. My beloved child, you do not need to escape your humanity to walk with me. Your daily routines can become places of communion when you bring attention, gratitude, and honesty into them. Invite me into your work. Ask for patience before a difficult conversation. Ask for integrity when compromise looks easier. Ask for wisdom when you are uncertain. Ask for strength to complete what you have promised. Then do the work carefully. Faith is not a substitute for responsibility. Walking with me should make you more honest, dependable, compassionate, and willing to learn. Invite me into your relationships. Before you respond in anger, pause. Before you assume another person's motives, ask for clarity. Before you give advice, listen. Before you say yes from guilt, consider whether truth requires a boundary. My beloved child, companionship with me will slowly change the way you treat people. It will make you less reactive, but it will not make you passive. Invite me into your rest as well. You do not honor me by treating your body as though it has no limits. Even Jesus stepped away from crowds. Sleep, quiet food movement, and healthy support are not distractions from spiritual life. They can be part of wise stewardship. Your body is not an enemy to overcome. It is part of the life you have been given to care for. There may be seasons when your daily walk feels repetitive. You pray, work, rest, and begin again. Do not despise this rhythm. Roots grow through repeated nourishment. Character forms through ordinary choices no one applauds. A steady life with me is built more often through consistency than through dramatic experiences. My beloved child, some of the deepest changes will happen while nothing remarkable seems to be occurring. You will notice that you recover from disappointment more quickly. You will pause before speaking. You will stop returning to places that cost you your peace. You will ask for help sooner. These quiet changes are evidence that companionship is becoming character. Keep Scripture near, not as a task to complete, but as truth to return to. Read slowly. Notice what reveals my nature. Let one honest sentence remain with you during the day. When confusion comes, return to what is clear. When fear speaks loudly, remember what has been steady. Also, remain connected to wise community. Walking with me does not mean walking without people. Seek those who encourage truth, humility, responsibility, and grace. Isolation can make your own thoughts sound final. Healthy community helps you test what you believe you are hearing. As this daily relationship grows, you will become more aware of voices that disturb it. Some voices will come from outside, others will come from old fear, comparison, shame, or pride. Do not be frightened by this awareness. It is the next part of wisdom. My beloved child, continue walking with me through the ordinary places. Let my presence become familiar in peace as well as pressure. Then you will be ready to recognize which voices protect your growth and which ones quietly pull your heart away from truth. My beloved child, now that you are learning to walk with me through days, you must learn to recognize the voices shaping your heart. Not every voice deserves access to your inner life. Some voices speak loudly. Others arrive through repeated comments, familiar fears, old memories, or comparison that leaves you feeling behind. If you do not examine them, they can become the language you use against yourself. You have often mistaken familiarity for truth. A message repeated for years can feel trustworthy because you have heard it many times. Someone may have told you that you were too sensitive, too difficult, too late, too weak, or too much. My beloved child, repetition does not turn a wound into wisdom. A lie can become familiar without becoming true. This is why I am asking you to guard your heart. Do not accept every thought because it appeared in your mind. Do not believe every opinion because it came from someone you love. Do not follow every spiritual message because it sounds confident. Test what you hear. Look at the fruit it produces. Does it lead toward truth, humility, responsibility, courage, and peace? Or does it produce panic, shame, confusion, pride, and control? The Apostle John urged believers to test the spirits rather than trusting every claim. My beloved child, discernment is not suspicion toward everyone. It is examination. It asks whether a message agrees with the character I have revealed through Scripture. It asks whether the person speaking is accountable, honest, and willing to be questioned. Truth does not fear questions. Be cautious when someone uses urgency to silence your wisdom. If you are told that you must act immediately or lose my favor, pause. If you are pressured to give money, surrender a boundary. Ignore evidence or prove your faith through fear, step back. My voice can be urgent, but it does not manipulate you into panic. I do not demand that you abandon sound judgment to show that you trust me. My beloved child, my guidance may challenge you, but it will not degrade you. It may correct you, but it will not tell you that you are worthless. It may call you to apologize, release pride, or change direction. Yet correction from me creates a path forward. Condemnation tells you that you can never change. Learn to recognize the voice of shame. Shame speaks in absolutes. It says you always failed, no one will understand you, and nothing can change. It takes one mistake and turns it into an identity. My beloved child, truth is specific. It can name what was wrong without erasing everything good. It can call you to responsibility without removing hope. Also, guard your heart from comparison. You look at another person's season and assume it is evidence about your own. You see their relationship, work, home, ministry, or progress, and ask why your life appears slower. But you are seeing only what they have chosen to reveal. You do not know their full story or the cost behind what looks effortless. Peter once asked Jesus about another disciple's future. Jesus redirected him toward his own path. My beloved child, this is wisdom for you. Do not let another person's assignment distract you from the step I have placed before you. Their progress does not prove your failure. Their timing does not cancel your purpose. Stay faithful to the road you are walking. Comparison can also make you imitate what was never meant for you. You may copy someone else's routine voice, business relationship, or spiritual practice because it appears successful. Learn from others, but do not abandon your own convictions. What nourishes another person may not fit your responsibilities or limits. Wisdom adapts. It does not blindly imitate. Guard your heart from people who plant confusion while calling it concern. Some advice appears loving but leaves you doubting every healthy decision. Someone may question your boundary because it limits their access. They may call your rest laziness because your exhaustion once benefited them. My beloved child, listen respectfully, but examine whose comfort the advice protects. This does not mean that everyone who disagrees with you is wrong. Sometimes the voice you resist is carrying needed correction. Pride can label accountability as negativity. Fear can call wisdom judgment. Ask whether the person shows character. Ask whether they care about your growth more than their control. Ask whether their words are supported by reality. Seek people who can tell you the truth without humiliating you. Healthy counsel is clear and grounded. It does not flatter every choice. It does not enjoy your failure. A wise person can challenge you while respecting your dignity. My beloved child, do not surround yourself only with voices that agree. Surround yourself with voices that are honest and safe. Pay attention to what you repeatedly consume. The words entering through screens can shape your emotional climate. If you begin each morning with outrage, comparison, frightening predictions, or promises of instant success, do not be surprised when your mind becomes restless. You cannot fill your inner room with noise all day and expect immediate quiet at night. Create space where truth can breathe. Turn off what keeps you agitated without making you wiser. Step away from conversations built around gossip. Limit content that makes you despise your body, your pace, or your ordinary life. Return to Scripture slowly. Return to prayer honestly. Return to people who help you become truthful and steady. My beloved child, guard your heart from certainty. When you are afraid, any confident voice can feel comforting. You may prefer a clear but false promise over an honest unknown. Yet mature faith can live with unanswered questions. You do not need someone to predict every detail of your future. You need wisdom for the next faithful step. Remember that my peace is not the same as emotional ease. Sometimes truth will make you uncomfortable because it exposes a pattern. Sometimes a right decision will bring grief because you are releasing something familiar. Discernment asks more than whether a message feels pleasant. It asks whether the message leads you toward integrity, love, patience, courage, and freedom. When you are uncertain, slow down, pray, read the situation carefully, ask practical questions, seek counsel from trustworthy people, give important decisions enough time when possible. I am not threatened by your carefulness. My beloved child, you do not honor me by rushing into confusion. As you protect your heart, you will begin to hear more clearly. The voices of shame, comparison, manipulation, and fear will lose some of their authority. You will become less easily moved by praise and less easily crushed by criticism. Your inner life will no longer be an open room where every passing opinion can rearrange the furniture. But as the wrong voices become quieter, another fear may rise. You may begin to sense that something good is possible and then feel afraid to receive it. Past disappointment taught you to expect loss after joy. My beloved child, do not be surprised when this fear appears. We will face it together. The next step is learning to welcome good without believing it must immediately be taken away. My beloved child, as the wrong voices grow quieter, you may notice another struggle rising within you. You may begin to sense that something good is possible, yet instead of feeling only joy, part of you becomes afraid. When rest comes, you wait for another demand. When hope returns, you prepare yourself for another loss. I understand why your heart learned this pattern. It was trying to protect you. There were seasons when you trusted only to be hurt. You celebrated, then received painful news. You opened your hands and what you loved was taken away. My beloved child, I do not condemn the caution that helped you survive, but I do not want yesterday to keep deciding how fully you can receive what is good today. Fear tells you that joy is dangerous because it makes you vulnerable. It says that if you remain guarded, disappointment will hurt less. Yet constant guarding has a cost. It can prevent sorrow, but it can also prevent gratitude. It can keep you from receiving love, rest, friendship, opportunity, and simple moments of beauty. A heart that never opens cannot be broken easily, but it also cannot be nourished deeply. I am not asking you to become careless. I am not asking you to trust every person or ignore wisdom. I am asking you to stop treating every good thing as a threat. Let discernment protect you without allowing fear to imprison you. You can examine what is offered and still receive it with an open heart. You can move slowly, without assuming that loss is certain. James wrote that every good and perfect gift comes from above. My beloved child, this does not mean every pleasant experience will remain forever, or that life will never bring sorrow again. It means goodness is not something you must suspect, simply because pain has also existed. You are allowed to recognize a gift while it is present. You are allowed to give thanks without demanding a guarantee about tomorrow. Look at the way you respond when peace enters your life. You may create problems in your mind because calm feels too quiet. You may return to old conversations, search for hidden danger, or question another person's intentions without evidence. You may work beyond exhaustion because rest makes you feel exposed. These habits do not mean you are ungrateful. They reveal where your heart still expects harm. Bring that expectation to me. Tell me when happiness makes you nervous. Tell me when receiving help makes you feel indebted. Tell me when affection causes you to search for the condition attached to it. My beloved child, I can meet you in these reactions without shame. Awareness is not failure. It is the beginning of freedom. Sometimes you resist good because you believe you do not deserve it. You remember your mistakes and assume that peace belongs to better people. You think you must repay every failure before allowing yourself to smile again. But grace is not a wage earned by flawless behavior. It is a gift that teaches you how to live differently. Remember the father who welcomed the returning son. The son prepared a speech because shame told him he had lost his place. Yet the father moved toward him with compassion. The welcome did not erase responsibility. It revealed that restoration begins in relationship, not humiliation. My beloved child, you may come home without pretending that you never wandered. Receiving good also requires you to release bitterness. Bitterness often begins as a demand for justice. You want what happened to be acknowledged. You want the person who hurt you to understand the cost. Those desires are human. Yet when bitterness remains too long, it ties your attention to the wound and gives the past continued authority. I am not asking you to forget. I am not asking you to call betrayal acceptable or return to unsafe conditions. I am asking you to place judgment in my hands so anger does not become the keeper of your future. Forgiveness may be gradual. It may require prayer, boundaries, grief, and wise support. Take the process honestly. Do not force feelings you do not yet have. Begin with willingness. Say to me, I do not want this pain to rule me forever. That is enough for a beginning. Each time the memory returns, choose not to feed revenge. Choose the boundary that protects truth. Choose the conversation that helps you heal. Choose distance when closeness would repeat the harm. My beloved child, freedom is not always loud. Sometimes it is simply the moment you stop rehearsing what you wish you could do to make another person suffer. As you release what has occupied your heart, make room for new experiences. Let someone show kindness without immediately testing whether they will leave. Let a quiet day be quiet. Let a compliment reach you without arguing against it. Let yourself enjoy a meal, a song, a conversation, or a walk without turning pleasure into guilt. These ordinary moments can help your heart remember that life contains more than survival. You may still feel fear while receiving them. Courage does not require fear to disappear first. Breathe. Stay present. Notice what is true in this moment. You are here. You are not back inside the old event. The person before you is not automatically the person who hurt you. Today is not obligated to repeat yesterday. My beloved child, there will be good things that change or end. Human life is fragile. Relationships develop, seasons shift, and circumstances move. I will not promise that nothing painful will ever happen again, but you do not have to refuse joy in order to prepare for sorrow. When change comes, I will remain with you. You can receive today without controlling tomorrow. Gratitude can help retrain your attention. At the end of the day, name what brought peace, strength, beauty, or support. Do not force a long list. Begin with what is honest. Perhaps someone listened. Perhaps your body had enough energy for one task. Perhaps you made a healthier choice. Perhaps you rested. Small goodness is still goodness. Let celebration become part of healing. When progress appears, acknowledge it. When a prayer is answered differently than expected but wisely, give thanks. When you respond with more patience than before, notice the growth. You do not become proud by recognizing grace. You become aware. My beloved child, open your hands again. Not to grasp, but to receive. Let love be offered without assuming it must be earned. Let peace enter without asking when it will leave. Let hope breathe without demanding proof of every future detail. What is good does not need to be feared simply because you once lost something precious. As your heart learns to receive, an older question may surface. You may wonder whether your mistakes have disqualified you from the goodness you are beginning to see. Do not run from that question. We will face it next. The grace carrying you forward is greater than the record you keep against yourself, and it is ready to teach you how to walk beyond the failures you believed had closed your future. My beloved child, the grace carrying you forward is greater than the record you have kept against yourself. You have counted failures, carefully remembered words you wish you could take back, and replayed moments when fear guided you more than wisdom. You have wondered whether those choices closed every good door. Hear me clearly. Your mistakes matter, but they do not have authority to erase my love or end the work I am still doing within you. Grace is not permission to ignore what happened. It is not a blanket placed over harm so you never have to face it. Grace brings truth close enough for healing. It allows you to admit where you were wrong without deciding that wrong is all you are. My beloved child, you can take responsibility without building a home inside condemnation. You may still be carrying an inner courtroom. Each time hope appears, a voice presents evidence against you. It reminds you of the relationship you damaged, the opportunity you wasted, the promise you did not keep, or the season when you drifted far from what you knew was right. That voice says you have already received your final judgment. But shame is not a faithful judge. It repeats the accusation while refusing to acknowledge repentance, growth, or change. Bring the facts to me. Do not exaggerate them and do not minimize them. Say what you did, say what you avoided, say whom your choices affected. Then ask what faithful repair looks like now. Perhaps you need to apologize without defending yourself. Perhaps you need to repay something, correct a lie, keep a new boundary, or accept a consequence. Grace does not remove responsibility. It gives you strength to carry it without being destroyed by it. My beloved child, remember Zacchaeus. When he encountered Jesus, grace did not leave him unchanged. He responded by making restitution and choosing a different way of living. His actions did not purchase love. They revealed that love had reached him deeply enough to transform his behavior. Let your response be similar. Do not try to earn forgiveness through endless punishment. Let gratitude produce honest change. There are also mistakes you cannot fully repair. Some people are no longer reachable. Some opportunities will not return. Some words cannot be pulled back after they have entered another heart. This reality can be painful. Yet regret does not become more holy when you repeat it forever. Learn what the past can teach. Make amends where possible, then release what only I can hold. You have believed that suffering longer would prove you are sorry. My beloved child, self-punishment is not the same as repentance. Repentance turns. It chooses a new direction. Self-punishment often keeps you staring at the place where you fell, too ashamed to move. I am not calling you to remain on the ground. I am calling you to rise with humility and walk differently. Peter knew the weight of failure. He had promised loyalty, then denied knowing Jesus when pressure came. His tears were real. His regret was deep. Yet after the resurrection, Jesus did not meet him only with accusation. He asked him to love, care, and serve. Restoration returned him to responsibility. My beloved child, grace can do the same within you. It can turn the place of failure into a place of wiser service. Do not misunderstand this. Trust may need time to rebuild. Forgiveness from another person cannot be demanded. Consequences may remain even after sincere change. Grace does not control how others respond. It changes how you walk forward. It teaches patience when someone needs distance. It teaches consistency when words are no longer enough. It teaches you to respect another person's boundary without calling it rejection from me. Some of your deepest shame comes from standards I never gave you. You expected yourself to know what you had not yet learned. You demanded perfect strength while carrying exhaustion, grief, confusion, or fear. You compared your first steps with another person's mature season. My beloved child, I do not measure growth without considering the burden being carried. This does not mean every choice was unavoidable. It means compassion helps you understand the conditions in which the choice was made. Understanding is not excuse, it is information. It helps you identify what support, healing, wisdom, or structure was missing. When you understand the pattern, you can interrupt it more effectively the next time pressure rises. Perhaps loneliness led you back to someone unsafe. Perhaps fear made you hide the truth. Perhaps the need for approval made you abandon your values. Perhaps exhaustion made you react harshly. Look beneath the behavior. Ask what wound, belief, or unmet need was influencing you. Then bring that deeper place into healing. Lasting change reaches roots, not only symptoms. My beloved child, receive help without shame. Speak with someone wise. Seek counseling when patterns feel too strong to untangle alone. Join a healthy community where honesty and accountability can exist together. I can work through prayer, scripture, practical guidance, and patient relationships. You do not prove faith by refusing support. Paul once carried the memory of having harmed believers. He did not erase his past, but he also did not allow it to become the final word over his calling. He spoke of grace meeting him in truth and giving him a new way to serve. My beloved child, your history can become a source of humility without becoming a permanent sentence. Let grace change the way you speak to yourself. Replace vague condemnation with specific truth. Instead of saying, "I ruin everything," say, "I handled that situation poorly, and I am learning a healthier response." Instead of saying, "I can never change," say, "This pattern is strong, but I can seek help and practice a different choice." Truth is honest, but it leaves room for movement. You will still have days when the old accusation returns. Do not panic. Growth does not mean every painful thought disappears forever. It means you no longer give that thought complete authority. Answer it with what is true. You have failed, and you are learning. You have caused harm, and you can make repair. You have wandered, and you can return. My beloved child, I am not waiting for a flawless version of you before I continue leading. I am asking for an honest heart, willing hands, and a teachable spirit. Let grace lift your eyes from the ground. Let it place responsibility in your hands without placing hatred in your heart. Do not rush to prove change. Consistent faithfulness speaks louder than dramatic promises. Keep choosing honesty when hiding would be easier. Keep choosing patience when shame demands immediate relief. Over time, a different life will become the clearest evidence that grace has taken root. As you begin to walk beyond your mistakes, you may look back at the pressure that exposed them. You may remember the seasons when heat revealed what was hidden inside you. Do not fear that memory. The next truth will help you understand what the fire prepared, what it revealed, and how even difficult pressure can become a place where stronger character is formed. My beloved child, the fire you remember was not proof that I had left you. Pressure does not always create weakness. Often it reveals the places that still need strength, truth, and healing. I know the heat felt personal. Doors closed close together. People changed without warning. Responsibilities increased while your energy decreased. You tried to remain steady, yet small problems felt heavier than before. My beloved child, I was not standing far away measuring how long you could endure. I was near helping you see what could no longer remain untouched. A metal worker does not place iron in the flame because the iron is worthless. The flame makes it possible to shape what would otherwise remain rigid. In the same way, difficult seasons soften the parts of you that had become guarded, proud, fearful, or exhausted. The fire did not make every event good. It created a setting where truth became harder to avoid. You learned that confidence built only on favorable circumstances can disappear quickly. You learned that approval cannot become your foundation. You discovered how much peace you had placed in plans, people, routines, and outcomes you could not control. When those supports shook, you felt exposed. Yet that exposure showed you where a deeper foundation was needed. My beloved child, remember the 3 young men who entered the furnace in Babylon. The fire was real, and the danger was not imaginary. Yet they were not alone inside it. What had been intended to destroy them burned only the ropes that had held them. They walked in the place where others expected them to fall. Their story does not promise that every crisis will end in the same way. It reminds you that my presence is not canceled by heat. Some things that bound you began to loosen in your own fire. You stopped believing that everyone had to understand you. You became less willing to betray your values for acceptance. You recognized that silence from another person did not determine your worth. You learned to ask for help instead of pretending you were never tired. These changes were signs of freedom. The fire also revealed what you needed to grieve. You could no longer distract yourself from losses you had never named. You had to admit that some hopes would not unfold as you expected. My beloved child, grief was not a failure of faith. It was part of making room for a more honest life. What you refused to mourn remained heavy. What you brought into the light could begin to heal. Do not romanticize what hurt you. I do not ask you to call betrayal a blessing, abuse a lesson, or neglect a necessary gift. Wrong remains wrong. Harm should be named, boundaries should be honored, and support should be sought. Yet even when others acted without love, their choices did not remove my ability to form wisdom within you. You may still ask why I did not stop certain things sooner. I will not answer that question with easy words. Some mysteries remain painful. My beloved child, you are allowed to wrestle honestly. Faith does not require false certainty. Bring me your anger, confusion, and sorrow. I would rather receive your honest questions than watch you hide behind words you do not truly believe. What the fire prepared was not a person who never feels fear. It prepared a person who can feel fear and still choose wisdom. It did not create someone who never becomes tired. It taught you to notice exhaustion before it becomes collapse. It did not make you unable to be wounded. It taught you that pain can be faced without becoming your identity. My beloved child, the pressure trained your discernment. You learned that some opportunities glitter because they appeal to insecurity. You learned that some relationships feel intense because they repeat familiar instability. You learned that quick relief can carry a long cost. Before the fire, you may have called every open door an answer. After the fire, you began to ask where the door leads. That question is part of maturity. Not everything available is assigned to you. Not every invitation deserves a yes. Not every request is your responsibility. The fire reduced your desire to be needed by everyone. It showed you that constant availability can become a way of avoiding your own healing. Now you are learning to serve from love instead of fear. Pressure also strengthened your compassion. You understand more clearly how hidden battles can affect a person's behavior. You are slower to assume that weakness means laziness. You notice pain beneath anger and fear beneath control. This does not mean you excuse harmful choices. It means your truth can now carry mercy without losing firmness. My beloved child, strength formed in fire does not need to announce itself. It appears in the pause before you react. It appears when you choose a boundary without hatred. It appears when you admit that you do not know. It appears when you return to prayer after disappointment. Quiet strength is not seeking applause. It is becoming dependable. You may be tempted to believe the fire prepared you for a life without further difficulty. That is not my promise. Preparation does not remove every storm. It changes how you stand within one. A deeper root does not prevent the wind. It helps the tree remain grounded when the wind comes. The Apostle Paul spoke of suffering producing endurance, character, and hope. He was not praising pain for its own sake. He was describing what can grow when hardship is met with perseverance and grace. My beloved child, the fire did not automatically make you stronger. Your repeated choices within it shaped strength. Each time you returned to truth, asked for help, or refused bitterness, character was being formed. Now honor what was prepared. Do not return willingly to the patterns the fire exposed. Do not call chaos passion because calm feels unfamiliar. Do not surrender your peace to prove loyalty. Do not rebuild the cage after the heat loosened its bars. Walk as the person who has learned. There is responsibility in this new strength. You are becoming able to carry greater honesty, clearer boundaries, deeper compassion, and wiser influence. These are not decorations for your identity. They are tools for service. Use them gently. Power without humility can wound others. Strength without tenderness can repeat the harm you survived. My beloved child, the season ahead will require attention. Some instructions will need to be received without distraction. You will need to slow down enough to recognize what is urgent and what is merely loud. The fire prepared your hearing as much as your endurance. It taught you that panic and guidance do not sound the same, so remain present. Do not rush into the next opportunity simply because you survived the last trial. Let the lessons settle. Let wisdom become practice. Let strength remain humble. I am about to speak to the places where urgency, opposition, and decision meet. Listen carefully, my beloved child. The counsel ahead is meant to protect what the fire prepared and guide you without returning you to fear. My beloved child, remain present with me now. The fire prepared you to hear without immediately reacting, and this moment requires that steady attention. There are times when counsel must be received before fear has the chance to rearrange it. I am not asking you to panic. I am asking you to listen carefully, because what you do with wisdom matters. You have often confused urgency with pressure. Pressure tells you that everything must happen at once. It tightens your chest, shortens your patience, and makes every decision feel final. My beloved child, true urgency can still carry peace. It can be clear without becoming cruel. It can call you to act without making you afraid that one imperfect step will destroy your future. This is why I want you to slow down enough to recognize the difference. When panic speaks, it usually demands immediate control. It tells you to send the message before thinking, accept the offer before asking questions, or remain in a harmful place because leaving feels uncertain. My guidance does not work through confusion. Even when I ask you to move quickly, I will not ask you to abandon truth. Think of Nehemiah when he heard that Jerusalem was broken. He did not ignore the urgency, but neither did he rush without prayer. He wept, fasted, sought wisdom, and then prepared to act. My beloved child, his concern became focused responsibility. Let your response be the same. Feel what matters, bring it to me, and then move with clarity. There may be a conversation you have delayed because you are afraid of conflict. There may be an appointment you need to make, a habit you need to address, or a boundary you need to communicate. Urgent counsel does not always announce a dramatic destiny. Sometimes it simply tells you not to postpone what has already become clear. My beloved child, do not wait for fear to disappear before taking a healthy step. Courage often moves while the heart is still trembling. You can speak gently and still be firm. You can ask for help without having every answer. You can leave an unsafe pattern without knowing exactly what the next season will look like. Obedience is not complete certainty. It is a faithful response to the light you have received. At the same time, do not let anyone use spiritual language to control your decision. If someone tells you that my blessing depends on instant agreement, unquestioning loyalty, or a gift you cannot responsibly give, step back. I do not sell peace. I do not trade favor for fear-driven action. My beloved child, any message that refuses examination should not be trusted simply because it sounds religious. The Bereans were honored because they examined what they heard. They did not reject teaching, but they tested it carefully. You may do the same. Compare advice with Scripture. Consider the character of the person speaking. Ask whether their words create honesty, humility, and responsibility. Seek counsel from people who are not threatened by your questions. Urgent counsel may also concern your body and mind. You have sometimes spiritualized exhaustion, believing that prayer alone meant you should ignore warning signs. But I formed you as a whole person. If your body is struggling, seek care. If anxiety or sadness continues to overwhelm daily life, speak with a qualified professional and someone trustworthy. My beloved child, asking for help can be an act of wisdom. Do not call neglect faith. Do not call denial strength. I can meet you through doctors, counselors, medication, rest community, and practical support. These things do not replace prayer. They can become part of the answer. The wise response is not always the most dramatic one. Often it is the step that protects life, truth, and long-term health. My beloved child, listen also to the quiet warnings within your relationships. Perhaps you keep excusing behavior that repeatedly leaves you afraid, confused, or diminished. Perhaps you have been calling constant instability love. Pay attention to patterns, not promises alone. Words can sound beautiful while behavior tells the truth. If you are in danger, seek safety. Contact someone you trust. Use available support. Do not remain alone because you fear disappointing others. Forgiveness does not require continued access. Compassion does not require you to accept harm. Urgent counsel may be the permission you need to protect the life and dignity I have given you. There are also places where your own behavior needs attention. You may be avoiding responsibility, spending beyond your means, hiding information, or returning to a habit that weakens your peace. My beloved child, grace will not humiliate you, but it will call you into truth. Do not wait until a small pattern becomes a deeper crisis. Begin where you are. Tell the truth to the person who needs to know. Ask for accountability. Create a practical plan. Remove access to what repeatedly pulls you backward. Do not rely only on emotion. Build structure around the change you want to make. Wisdom becomes visible when intention is supported by action. Remember how Joseph responded when temptation entered his workplace. He did not remain in the room to prove his strength. He left. My beloved child, sometimes the wisest response is not a longer prayer inside the temptation. It is distance. It is ending the conversation, closing the screen, leaving the environment, or calling someone who can help you remain accountable. Stay present because distraction can make clear counsel seem unimportant. You may hear what you need, then immediately return to noise. Write down the truth that requires action. Choose one step you can complete today. Do not create a long list designed to make you feel productive. Identify the next faithful movement and give it your full attention. My beloved child, I am not asking you to transform your whole life in one afternoon. Urgency is not the same as overload. One honest action can begin a different direction. One appointment can open the way to care. One apology can begin repair. One boundary can interrupt a pattern. One decision to tell the truth can loosen years of hiding. You may worry that you have already waited too long. Shame will try to use the delay as a reason for further delay. Do not listen. The best time to respond may have been earlier, but the next faithful time is now. You cannot return to yesterday, but you can choose what happens with the truth you hold today. My beloved child, remain calm enough to act wisely. The counsel before you is not meant to frighten you into performance. It is meant to move you out of avoidance and into responsible faith. I will not measure you by dramatic declarations. I will look at the honest step, the humble choice, and the willingness to follow through. This is where listening must become action. In the next part of this journey, I will show you how faith moves from intention into practice without becoming manipulation or fear. For now, stay present. Hold the counsel clearly. Name the step before you. Then prepare to place your trust into action with courage, wisdom, and peace. My beloved child, you have named the step before you. Now faith must move from intention into action. You have listened, prayed, reflected, and waited for clarity. There comes a moment when more thinking becomes another form of delay. I am not asking you to rush. I am asking you to respond to what is clear. Faith is not proven by loud words. It is revealed through honest obedience. It appears when you make the call you avoided, keep the promise you made, ask for help, tell the truth, or leave what keeps harming you. My beloved child, a small, faithful action can carry more meaning than many emotional declarations. You may feel disappointed that the next step looks ordinary. You expected a dramatic sign, but instead you see an ordinary responsibility. Do not dismiss practical obedience. I often build new seasons through simple responsibilities completed with care. A seed does not look like a harvest, yet the harvest cannot begin without it. James wrote that faith without action is lifeless. He was not teaching that you earn my love through performance. He was showing that real trust becomes visible. If you believe truth matters, you speak truth. If you believe forgiveness is possible, you stop feeding revenge. If you value wisdom, you seek counsel before a serious decision. My beloved child, choose one action that belongs to today. Do not create an impossible plan for the rest of your life. Grand plans can become a hiding place when you are afraid of beginning. Write down the next step clearly. then give that action your attention. Perhaps your step is to contact someone and admit what you avoided. Speak simply. Do not prepare a speech designed to control their response. Say what is true, take responsibility for what belongs to you, and respect what they need afterward. An apology is not a tool for forcing reconciliation. It is an act of honesty. Perhaps your step is to ask for support. Pride may tell you that needing help means weakness. My beloved child, strength is not refusing assistance. Strength is recognizing when isolation makes the burden heavier. Schedule the counseling session. Tell someone what is happening. Perhaps your step is financial. You may need to examine spending, seek advice, or address a growing debt. Do not let shame keep the numbers hidden. Truth brings clarity. Make a realistic plan. Begin with what you can change. I do not ask you to give money recklessly to prove faith. Wise stewardship is spiritual obedience. Perhaps your step concerns work. Complete what you delayed. Apply for the position, learn the skill, ask the necessary question, update the document, prepare carefully rather than waiting for confidence. My beloved child, confidence often grows after action begins. You do not need to feel fearless to become faithful. Perhaps your step is rest. You have treated exhaustion as evidence of devotion. You kept saying yes because you feared disappointing people. Yet your body asks for attention. Put down what can wait. Sleep. Eat. Step outside. Turn off the noise. Rest is not always avoidance. Sometimes it restores your ability to respond wisely. Perhaps your step is a boundary. You know which conversation, request, or pattern steals your peace. State what you can and cannot continue. Speak without anger or endless explanations. A clear boundary is not punishment. It is information about how you will participate. Others may dislike it, but discomfort does not mean you are wrong. My beloved child, action guided by faith is not action controlled by fear. Fear says act now or everything will be lost. Faith says respond because truth has become clear. Fear makes you frantic. Faith moves with steady courage. Notice what is driving you before you decide. If you are unsure, ask whether the action agrees with Scripture, wisdom, love, responsibility, and reality. Ask whether it respects the dignity of everyone involved. Ask whether it requires deception, manipulation, or denial. What I lead you to do will not require dishonesty to achieve a good result. Remember the servants at the wedding in Cana. They did not create the miracle. They filled the jars with water as Jesus instructed. Their responsibility was simple and complete. My beloved child, you do not have to produce the outcome. You have to carry the water you were asked to carry. This is where you become tired. You try to perform your part and mine. You make the call, then attempt to control the response. You apply for the opportunity, then measure your worth by the answer. You set a boundary, then try to prevent anyone from feeling upset. Release the result. Faithful action is yours. Final control is not. Do not confuse delayed results with failed obedience. A healthy step may not bring immediate relief. An apology may meet silence. A treatment plan may require patience. A new habit may feel awkward. A boundary may create tension before stability. My beloved child, judge the action by its truthfulness, not only by how quickly it makes you comfortable. Build support around your decision. If you are leaving a destructive pattern, remove easy access to it. If you are creating a budget, review it regularly. If you are beginning treatment, follow the plan honestly. If you set a boundary, decide what you will do when it is ignored. Intention becomes stronger when joined with structure. You will not complete every action perfectly. You may hesitate, forget, or return briefly to an old response. Do not use one imperfect day as permission to abandon the direction. Correct what needs correction. Begin again without drama. Consistency is not never falling. It is returning to the path more quickly and honestly. My beloved child, let your faith become visible in patience. Action does not always mean doing more. At times, the faithful action is waiting after you have done your part. Do not send another message because silence feels uncomfortable. Do not reopen the door because loneliness arrived. Do not change a wise decision because the result takes time. Keep your heart grounded while you move. Pray before, during, and after the step. Not because prayer guarantees the result you prefer, but because relationship with me keeps action from becoming self-reliance. You are not walking alone. Today, choose the faithful movement waiting for your response. Let it be honest, practical, and peaceful. Complete it as carefully as you can, then release what follows. My beloved child, action is not the purchase price of blessing. It is the way trust begins to take form in daily life. As you move a path once hidden may become clearer. One responsible step can reveal the next. One truthful conversation can create room for a new beginning. One boundary can uncover a healthier direction. Do not demand the whole road at once. Walk through the light you have. The opening ahead may not look like the one you once begged to enter. It may be quieter, wiser, and better suited to the person you are becoming. Keep your hands open. The next part of this journey is about receiving that new opening without forcing it, worshiping it, or fearing that it will disappear. My beloved child, the opening before you may not resemble the door you once begged me to unlock. It may arrive quietly through a different path with fewer signs and less drama than you expected. Do not reject it because it does not match the picture you carried. I am not limited to the shape of your old request. I can answer the need beneath it in a wiser way. You asked for a certain person, position, opportunity, or outcome because you believed it was the only way forward. Yet while you were waiting, I was changing your understanding of what forward truly means. My beloved child, sometimes I do not reopen the same door. Sometimes I lead you toward a new entrance that fits the person you have become. Receive this promise. A new opening does not mean every problem disappears. It means a path is becoming visible where you once saw only an ending. It may begin with one conversation, one responsibility, one peaceful decision, or one invitation that asks you to grow. Do not despise its size. Small beginnings can carry direction. Isaiah spoke of a way being made in the wilderness and streams appearing in dry ground. The wilderness did not vanish before the way appeared. The dry ground did not become a garden overnight. My beloved child, the promise was that I could create movement where people expected none. I can do that within your circumstances, your thinking, and your next faithful steps. Pay attention to what opens without requiring you to betray your peace. A healthy opportunity may stretch you, but it will not demand that you abandon integrity. A right relationship may require patience, but it will not survive by keeping you afraid. A wise direction may challenge your comfort, but it will not depend on deception, manipulation, or constant confusion. My beloved child, do not worship the opening. A door is a passage, not your identity. You may be tempted to treat a new opportunity as proof that you are valuable, but your value was never waiting behind that door. You were loved while the hallway was dark. You were held while nothing seemed to move. Walk forward from security, not toward it. This matters because fear can turn an opportunity into a source of bondage. You may become desperate to keep what has arrived. You may silence your needs, ignore warning signs, or overwork to prove that you deserve your place. Do not repeat the old pattern inside the new season. What I am teaching you now must travel with you. Receive the opening with gratitude and observation. Ask questions. Read what you are agreeing to. Consider the cost. Notice the character of the people involved. Seek wise counsel. My beloved child, faith does not require you to become careless. A promise from me will never be weakened by honest examination. Remember how the Israelites entered the promised land gradually. They needed courage, obedience, strategy, and community. Arrival did not remove responsibility. In the same way, a new opening may require you to learn, prepare, adjust, and remain patient. Do not expect a new season to carry you while you refuse to grow. You may need to release what cannot pass through the opening with you. Old resentment, constant comparison, fear-driven habits, and the need to control every opinion will make the next season heavier than it needs to be. My beloved child, do not carry every piece of the former room into the new one. Keep the wisdom, leave the captivity. Some people may not understand your movement. They knew you during the season when you doubted yourself. They may question your boundary, your pace, or your willingness to begin again. Listen when their concern is honest, but do not surrender clear direction merely to remain familiar to others. Growth sometimes changes the way relationships function. Remain humble. A new opening does not make you better than those whose doors remain closed. Do not turn relief into pride. Remember how waiting felt. Let your progress deepen compassion. Encourage others without making promises about their timing. Share hope without pretending to know the details of their future. My beloved child, the opening may also be internal before it becomes external. You may notice that you can imagine a future without fear controlling every picture. You may feel willing to trust again, create again, serve again, or rest again. Do not call that small. A renewed heart can recognize possibilities that a wounded heart could not see. There may be days when the door narrows. A delay may occur. Someone may ask for more information. A plan may need revision. Do not immediately assume the opening has closed. Pause and examine what is happening. Some delays protect quality. Some questions improve preparation. Some revisions make the path stronger. But if clear evidence shows that a door is not healthy, you are free to step back. Receiving a promise does not mean forcing every possibility to become its fulfillment. My beloved child, you do not need to make something work merely because you hoped it would. Wisdom can release one opening while continuing to trust that guidance remains. Let peace become part of your discernment, but do not confuse peace with the absence of nervousness. New responsibilities can feel unfamiliar. Courage may tremble. The question is not whether you feel perfectly calm. Ask whether you can move honestly, responsibly, and without violating what you know is true. Take the next step at the pace wisdom allows. Prepare what needs preparation. Show up when it is time. Speak clearly. Keep your commitments. Then release the need to control every result. My beloved child, the door may open, but you still walk through it one step at a time. Receive the new opening as an invitation to partnership with me. Continue praying after the answer begins. Continue listening after movement appears. Continue caring for your body, relationships, character, and responsibilities. Do not abandon the practices that carried you through waiting simply because something has changed. A new season needs old faithfulness and new wisdom. Let gratitude keep you soft. Let boundaries keep you steady. Let humility keep you teachable. Let truth keep you free. What is opening should not separate you from me. It should deepen your awareness that I was present in the waiting and remain present in the movement. My beloved child, you are not stepping forward because every obstacle has vanished. You are stepping forward because the resistance no longer has the same authority over your choices. Fear may still speak, but it does not have to lead. The past may still be remembered, but it does not have to decide. As you receive this opening, you will begin to recognize how many forces once tried to keep you small. Shame told you to hide. Comparison told you that you were late. Anxiety told you that every decision would fail. Yet you are still here listening, healing, and moving. In the next part, you will name this truth. The resistance did not have the final word, and it has not succeeded in stopping the life that is now beginning to unfold. My beloved child, the resistance did not have the final word. You are still here. You are listening. You are still learning how to move without allowing fear to choose your direction. The forces that once kept you frozen no longer hold the same authority. Shame spoke. Comparison spoke. Disappointment spoke. Yet none of them succeeded in ending the work I began within you. For a long time, resistance did not look like an obvious enemy. It looked like hesitation. It sounded like the thought that you should wait until you felt completely ready. It appeared as the need to please everyone before making one honest decision. My beloved child, resistance often hides inside familiar habits because they simply keep you in the same place. You told yourself that you were being careful, but sometimes you were avoiding. You told yourself that you were being patient, but sometimes you were afraid to begin. You called it humility when you made yourself smaller. You called it loyalty when you remained attached to patterns that harmed your peace. Now you can see more clearly. This clarity is part of victory. Victory is not always a dramatic change in circumstances. Sometimes it is the moment you finally name what has been controlling you. When a pattern is exposed, it loses the protection of secrecy. When fear is named, it can be examined. When shame is brought into truth, it can no longer speak as though it is my voice. My beloved child, declare this carefully. The resistance has failed to define me. The resistance has failed to erase my hope. The resistance has failed to make my past the only story I can tell. Do not use these words as magic. Use them as a truthful reminder that what opposed your growth did not destroy your capacity to choose again. David stood before Goliath after listening to days of intimidation. My beloved child, some fears gain power because they are repeated. You hear the same accusation so often that it begins to sound like fact. But repetition does not create truth. Courage begins when you stop agreeing with the voice speaking without challenge. You may still feel the effects of what resisted you. A wound can remain tender after danger has passed. A habit can continue calling after you decide to change. A difficult memory can return after healing has begun. Do not confuse the presence of a struggle with the absence of progress. The fact that resistance speaks again does not mean it has regained authority. Your response is changing. You pause where you once reacted. You ask questions where you once obeyed pressure. You seek help where you once hid. You rest where you once proved your worth through exhaustion. My beloved child, these changes show that resistance is losing access to the deepest decisions of your life. The resistance of shame failed when you told the truth. The resistance of comparison failed when you returned to your own path. The resistance of fear failed when you took one responsible step without knowing the full outcome. The resistance of bitterness failed when you chose a boundary instead of revenge. The resistance of isolation failed when you allowed someone trustworthy to support you. Do not overlook these victories because they did not come with applause. I see the quiet decisions that protect your future. I see when you close the screen instead of feeding envy. I see when you refuse to return to a destructive conversation. I see when you breathe, pray, and wait before answering from anger. My beloved child, some resistance came from outside you. People misunderstood your change. They questioned your boundaries. They preferred the version of you that was easier to control. Their reactions may have made you doubt yourself. Test your choices with truth, wise counsel, and humility, but do not surrender them merely to recover approval. Some resistance came from circumstances. Limited resources, unexpected delays, health concerns, and responsibilities made progress slower. I do not ask you to deny reality. I ask you to recognize that difficulty did not prevent growth. You learn to adapt, seek support, revise plans, and continue with wisdom. Some resistance came from within. Old beliefs told you that you had to earn love, control every result, or remain useful to deserve a place. These beliefs formed over years. My beloved child, they will not disappear through one emotional moment, but each time you choose truth, you weaken the old agreement. This is why declaration must become practice. Say that fear will not lead, then make the calmer choice. Say that shame will not define you, then accept responsibility without attacking yourself. Say that comparison will not control you, then turn your attention away from the life you were never assigned to live. Words become strong when joined with action. Remember Joshua standing before a people entering unfamiliar ground. Courage was not presented as a feeling that arrived before movement. It was a command to remain grounded in what was true while taking the next step. My beloved child, courage is not the absence of trembling. It is the refusal to let trembling become your master. Do not turn this victory into pride. You did not reach this point through strength alone. You were helped by grace people, lessons, rest, correction, and opportunities to begin again. Let gratitude keep you humble. A humble victory does not boast over those who are still struggling. It remembers the difficulty and offers compassion. My beloved child, the resistance has failed, but the journey continues. You still need wisdom. You still need boundaries. You still need prayer, community, and honest reflection. Victory is not permission to become careless. It is freedom to move without the chains that once made every step feel impossible. There may be setbacks. You may return briefly to an old reaction. Do not declare the whole journey lost. Notice what happened. Repair what needs repair. Ask what support was missing. Then return to the path. Resistance often tries to use one mistake as evidence that nothing changed. Do not agree. A stumble is information, not a final sentence. Let this truth settle deeply. You are not the person fear expected you to remain. You are not the sum of every rejection. You are not permanently trapped inside the habits that once protected you. The opening ahead is real because your capacity to respond has changed. You can now walk with more clarity than before. My beloved child, say within your heart that the resistance has failed to silence truth, failed to cancel growth, and failed to remove hope. Then live as though these words matter. Choose the honest conversation. Keep the healthy boundary. Take the responsible step. Receive support. Continue forward without needing to prove anything dramatic. As you move, pay close attention to the thoughts that attempt to follow you through the new opening. Resistance may no longer control your direction, but it may still try to disturb your peace through accusation, fear, and mental noise. The next work is learning to recognize those thoughts without giving them a home. We will face them with truth, patience, and a steadier mind. My beloved child, as you step through this new opening today, some old thoughts may try to follow you. They may sound familiar because you have heard them for years. They may tell you that you will fail, that peace cannot last, or that nothing has changed. Do not be alarmed by their return. A thought appearing in your mind does not mean it belongs to you, defines you, or deserves your agreement. You are learning a difference. There is a difference between noticing a thought and giving it a room. A thought can pass through your awareness like a traveler at a window. You may see it without inviting it to sit at your table. My beloved child, you do not have to argue with every thought, but you do need to decide which ones are allowed to shape your direction. Some thoughts come from stress. Some rise from exhaustion, grief, old wounds, anxiety, or habits your mind formed to protect you. Not every troubling thought is a spiritual message, and not every fearful idea is a warning. Sometimes your mind is repeating what it learned during a difficult season. Meet that repetition with patience, truth, and wise care rather than panic. When a thought says you are unsafe, pause and look at the present moment. Ask what is happening now. Feel your feet on the ground. Slow your breathing. Name what you can see and hear. My beloved child, grounding yourself in reality is not a lack of faith. It is one way of reminding your being that the past is not happening again. When a thought says you are worthless, do not answer it with vague excitement. Answer with truth. You are a person created with dignity. You are capable of learning, repairing, receiving help, and beginning again. Your value is not decided by another person's rejection, one mistake, or a difficult season. Let truth be calm enough to remain when emotion becomes loud. Paul encouraged believers to bring their thoughts into obedience to Christ. This does not mean becoming afraid of your own mind. It means refusing to let every thought become your master. My beloved child, examine what a thought produces. Does it move you toward love, courage, honesty, and responsibility? Or does it push you toward shame, isolation, impulsive action, and despair? You may discover that certain thoughts return at predictable times. They become louder when you are tired, hungry, lonely, overwhelmed, or exposed to constant conflict. Pay attention to those patterns. Care for the conditions that make your mind more vulnerable. Sleep when you can. Eat regularly. Step away from endless noise. Speak with someone safe. Practical care can strengthen spiritual clarity. Do not shame yourself for needing support. If unwanted thoughts become persistent or difficult to manage, speak with a qualified mental health professional. My beloved child, seeking help is not surrendering your faith. It is choosing not to face a heavy burden alone. I can work through counseling, medical care, trusted community prayer, and patient daily practice. Some thoughts steal peace by pretending to predict the future. They say one delay means permanent failure. One quiet message means rejection. One mistake means everything will collapse. Ask for evidence. Ask whether another explanation is possible. My beloved child, fear speaks with certainty about what it cannot know. Wisdom leaves room for facts, time, and clarification. Other thoughts steal peace by replaying the past. They return to a conversation and invent better words. They imagine a different ending. Reflection can teach you, but endless replay cannot change what happened. Learn what belongs to you. Repair what can be repaired. Then place the scene in my hands. You do not need to keep reopening a wound to prove that it mattered. There are also thoughts that compare. They point toward another person's progress and tell you that you are late. They show you a polished moment from someone else's life and use it as evidence against your whole journey. My beloved child, turn your attention back to your own assignment. Comparison rarely gives clear direction. It usually drains energy from the work before you. Remember Elijah after the victory on Mount Carmel. Exhaustion, fear, and isolation affected the way he saw his future. I did not begin by scolding him for feeling overwhelmed. He received rest food and renewed direction. Learn from this. Sometimes the mind needs care before it can interpret life clearly. Do not make permanent conclusions from a depleted condition. My beloved child, reject a thought without becoming violent toward yourself. You do not need to shout at your mind or punish yourself for feeling afraid. Speak gently and firmly. Say that this thought is present, but it is not the only truth available. Then turn toward what is grounded, compassionate, and responsible. Fill the space with truth. If you only try to remove fear, your attention may return to it. Replace the old pattern with truth, prayer, movement, conversation, or meaningful work. Read a passage of scripture slowly. Take a walk. Write what you know to be true. Complete one useful task. Call someone who helps you become steady. Philippians teaches you to give attention to what is true, honorable, just, pure, lovely, and worthy of praise. This is not a command to ignore suffering. It is an invitation to stop allowing suffering to occupy your whole field of vision. My beloved child, truth includes pain, but it also includes grace, support, beauty, responsibility, and possibility. Be careful with the words you repeat about yourself. Statements become pathways when traveled often. If you say that you are broken, abandoned, or incapable, your mind begins to expect life through that lens. Choose language that is honest and open to growth. Say that you are hurting, not hopeless. Say that you are learning, not permanently failing. Do not expect perfect control over your thoughts. The goal is not to create a mind where nothing difficult ever appears. The goal is to become less controlled by what appears. Peace is not the absence of mental noise. It is the growing ability to remain grounded while noise passes without deciding your identity or action. My beloved child, this ability develops through repetition. Each time you notice a harmful thought, pause, examine it, and choose a healthier response. Some days, this will feel natural. Other days, it will require more effort. Do not measure progress by one moment. Look at the direction formed through many small choices. You are not helpless inside your own mind. You may not choose every thought that arrives, but you can learn how to respond. You can seek support. You can build routines that protect clarity. You can return to truth when fear becomes persuasive. You can rest in my presence without pretending that every struggle has disappeared. The peace you want will not be built through one declaration alone. It will become stronger through what you practice each morning, each conversation, each difficult decision, and each return after a setback. My beloved child, the next step is to turn this understanding into a daily rhythm. We will build peace through ordinary choices until steadiness becomes more familiar than fear. My beloved child, peace becomes stronger when you practice it in the ordinary moments of your day. It is not built only during prayer, worship, or crisis. It is shaped by what you choose when you wake, what you allow into your mind, how you speak when tired, and where you turn when uncertainty rises. The calm you desire will grow through repeated decisions that teach your heart where to rest. Begin gently. You do not need to transform every routine at once. Choose a few faithful practices and return to them consistently. My beloved child, a river does not carve stone through one violent movement. It creates a path through steady flow. In the same way, small choices repeated with patience can reshape patterns that have controlled you for years. Before the noise of the day enters, give yourself a moment to become present. Breathe slowly. Offer me the concerns already forming in your mind. Read a short passage of scripture. Do not rush through many words. Let one truth remain with you. Ask what kind of person you are being invited to become today, not only what you need to accomplish. Jesus taught his followers to ask for daily bread. He did not tell them to carry every future need in one moment. My beloved child, receive what is enough for today. Ask for enough wisdom for the next decision, enough strength for the next responsibility, and enough patience for the next conversation. Tomorrow will have its own needs. You do not have to live it before it arrives. Build peace by caring for your body. Exhaustion can make a small concern feel impossible. Hunger can shorten patience. Constant noise can keep your mind alert long after danger has passed. Sleep, food, movement, sunlight, and medical care are not separate from your spiritual life. You were created as a whole person. Treat your physical needs with respect. My beloved child, build peace through the way you speak. Words can either increase confusion or create room for understanding. When anger rises, pause before answering. Ask whether your words are truthful, necessary, and kind. Kindness does not mean avoiding hard truth. It means refusing to use truth as a weapon. There will be conversations where you need to be firm. Speak clearly without rehearsing every wound. State what you need, what you can offer, and what you cannot continue. Then allow the other person to respond. Peace does not require controlling their reaction. It requires remaining aligned with honesty and dignity. Build peace by deciding what deserves your attention. Not every message needs an immediate reply. Not every debate deserves your energy. Not every troubling headline requires hours of fear. My beloved child, attention is part of stewardship. What you repeatedly watch and rehearse will influence the atmosphere within you. Create limits around content that keeps you anxious, angry, envious, or ashamed without helping you act wisely. Stay informed where responsibility requires it, but do not confuse constant exposure with care. You can care deeply about the world without carrying every tragedy inside your body throughout the day. Build peace through gratitude that remains honest. Gratitude is not pretending that nothing hurts. It is refusing to let pain become the only thing you notice. Name what is still good. A safe place to rest. A person who listened. Strength for one task. A moment of laughter. My beloved child, small gifts can steady a tired heart. Paul wrote about learning contentment in both abundance and need. He did not describe a life free from hardship. He described a heart that learned where its strength came from. Contentment is not the absence of desire. It is the freedom to desire without allowing desire to control your worth or peace. Build peace by keeping your commitments realistic. You often lose calm because you agree to more than you can carry. You say yes quickly, then live with resentment and exhaustion. My beloved child, pause before promising. Consider your time, energy, health, and existing responsibilities. A thoughtful no can protect the integrity of your yes. When you make a commitment, follow through as faithfully as possible. If circumstances change, communicate honestly. Do not disappear because you feel embarrassed. Do not offer excuses that avoid responsibility. Peace grows where your words and actions begin to agree. Build peace through order, but do not worship perfection. A simple plan can reduce confusion. Prepare for tomorrow. Write down what matters. Break large tasks into smaller steps. Keep your surroundings as manageable as your situation allows. My beloved child, structure can support calm, but it should serve you rather than become another standard used for self-criticism. Some days your routine will fail. You will wake late, forget the plan, react poorly, or lose focus. Do not declare the whole day ruined. Return at the next available moment. Peace is not maintained through flawless performance. It is rebuilt through humble return. Build peace through community. Do not wait until you are overwhelmed before reaching out. Speak regularly with people who help you remain honest and grounded. Share both burdens and progress. Allow others to pray with you, challenge you, and remind you of truth when your own perspective becomes narrow. My beloved child, choose community carefully. Healthy people do not demand that you hide questions or ignore boundaries. They do not use vulnerability for gossip. They can celebrate your growth without needing to control it. Become that kind of person for others as well. Build peace through forgiveness practiced in daily portions. You may not release every layer of hurt at once. Begin by refusing to feed revenge. When the memory returns, ask what truth, boundary, or support is needed. Forgiveness can coexist with grief. It can coexist with distance. It can coexist with consequences. Build peace by accepting what you cannot control. You cannot manage another person's feelings, choices, honesty, or readiness. You cannot guarantee the future. You can choose your response, seek wisdom, set boundaries, and act with integrity. My beloved child, freedom grows when you stop carrying responsibilities that belong to someone else. At the end of the day, review without accusation. Notice where you felt steady and where you lost your center. Give thanks for what went well. Admit what needs repair. Ask what you can learn. Then let the day end. You do not need to solve every unfinished matter before resting. Remember that I am beside you in each ordinary choice. I am present when you pause before speaking, when you choose rest, when you ask for help, and when you begin again after a difficult moment. Peace is not created by your effort alone. Your choices make room for you to receive what I continually offer. My beloved child, these daily practices are forming more than calm. They are shaping a life that can carry truth with humility and light with compassion. As peace becomes your rhythm, others will notice the steadiness, honesty, and hope growing within you. The final step is not to keep this transformation hidden. It is to live the truth you have received and carry its light into the world before you with courage and grace. My beloved child, the peace you have practiced in ordinary moments is now becoming a way of life. Truth is not meant to remain only in your thoughts. Light is not meant to be admired from a distance. What you have received must now become visible through the life you live. You first learned to recognize that the moment was not empty. You began to see that I had not forgotten you. Then you looked again at the doors that closed and discovered that some endings carried protection, redirection, and mercy. What once felt like rejection became part of your preparation. You entered stillness and found that silence was not abandonment. You learned to protect the peace being formed and to stop allowing every demand to command your spirit. You came before me without hiding your imperfections, and you discovered that honesty did not push me away. You surrendered wounds that had shaped your identity. You allowed grief, truth, boundaries, wise support, and forgiveness to loosen what pain had held. You noticed new alignment through ordinary conversations, practical help, and opportunities that did not require you to betray your values. You chose surrender over constant effort and learned that trust is faithful action without the illusion of control. My beloved child, you began to walk with me beyond the crisis. You invited me into mornings, work, relationships, joy, rest, and routine. You learned to test voices rather than believing every confident message. You guarded your heart from manipulation, comparison, shame, and fear. You allowed yourself to receive good without assuming that joy would immediately be taken away. Grace taught you to face your mistakes without making them your identity. The fire revealed what needed healing and what strength had already formed. Urgent counsel helped you distinguish clear responsibility from panic. You placed faith into action through honest, practical steps. Then you received a new opening without using it to prove your worth. You declared that resistance had failed to silence truth, erase hope, or keep you permanently small. You learned to reject thoughts that stole peace without becoming afraid of your own mind. You began building steadiness through daily choices. Now, my beloved child, you are ready to live what you have learned. Living the truth does not mean speaking loudly about every conviction. It means allowing your character to agree with your words. If you speak about grace, practice patience. If you speak about truth, refuse deception. If you speak about love, respect, boundaries, and dignity. If you speak about faith, continue acting responsibly when no one applauds. Jesus described his followers as light in the world. A lamp is not placed where it can only admire its own brightness. It is positioned so others can see enough to walk. My beloved child, you carry light when your presence makes truth easier to recognize, not when you make yourself the center. Your light may appear through a calm response in a tense room. It may appear when you listen to someone who feels unseen. It may appear when you admit a mistake before being forced to do so. It may appear when you refuse gossip, protect someone vulnerable, keep a promise, or offer help without needing recognition. Do not believe that carrying light requires a public platform. Much of my work is revealed through ordinary faithfulness. A parent who apologizes changes the atmosphere of a home. A person who chooses compassion without surrendering wisdom becomes a quiet witness. My beloved child, do not use spiritual language to avoid practical love. If someone is hungry and you can help responsibly, let compassion become action. If a person is in danger, help them reach safety and appropriate support. Prayer matters, but it should not become an excuse to ignore the help your hands can offer. At the same time, do not try to save everyone. You are not the source of every answer. You have limits, responsibilities, and needs of your own. Carrying light does not mean burning yourself until nothing remains. Continue resting, receiving support, and maintaining boundaries. Service that destroys your health will eventually become resentment. You do not know every reason behind another person's struggle. Speak hope without making guarantees about their future. Share what you have learned without presenting yourself as someone who has completed every lesson. My beloved child, people are often helped most by a witness who is honest about grace and continuing growth. Your story can encourage others, but it belongs first to truth. Do not exaggerate pain to create attention or victory to appear powerful. Say that you were afraid and learned courage. Say that you made mistakes and received grace. Say that some prayers were answered differently than you wanted, yet I remain near. Do not wait for a dramatic calling before practicing what is clear. Tell the truth kindly. Protect your peace. Ask for forgiveness. Welcome wise correction. Give generously without neglecting your obligations. Let consistency become the message. There will still be difficult days. You may face another closed door, another season of waiting, or another struggle in your thoughts. Do not interpret new difficulty as proof that everything you learned was false. Growth does not remove hardship. It gives you a steadier place from which to meet it. When pressure returns, remember the path. Pause before fear decides. Return to stillness. Guard your heart. Bring your imperfection honestly. Surrender the wound. Notice what is true. Act on what is clear. Release the outcome. Ask for help. My beloved child, you now have practices that can carry you when emotion becomes uncertain. Stay connected to community. Wisdom remains teachable. Carry hope, but carry it gently. Some people you meet will be grieving. They do not need quick explanations. They may need someone willing to sit quietly, listen carefully, and refuse easy promises. My beloved child, compassion often shines brightest when it does not rush another person's healing. Let your words point toward me without pretending to know every detail of my plan. You can say that I am faithful without claiming every circumstance will change immediately. You can offer hope without promising wealth-restored relationships or freedom from all sorrow. Truthful hope does not depend on exaggeration. My beloved child, the appointed moment that began this journey was never meant to end with a feeling. It was meant to become a direction. You were seen so you could learn to see others. You received mercy so you could become merciful. You found peace so you could carry peace into places shaped by fear. Now rise with humility. Walk with courage. Keep your heart soft and your boundaries clear. Let your faith become visible through service, honesty, patience, responsibility, and love. Do not chase applause. Do not fear obscurity. A small light is still light when it is placed faithfully. I am with you in the next ordinary step. I will remain with you when the road is clear and when questions return. You do not need to know every mile. Carry the truth you have received. Live it gently. Share it wisely. Let your life become a steady lamp. My beloved child, go forward in peace and carry the light.